I think I'm really excited. Of course, like it's not gonna be easy because I always tell myself and also everybody, it's just being realistic with starting a business. It's not gonna be all rainbow and sunshine most of the time. It's like 80% rain,
Yeah.
20% sunshine.
Yeah. But then you will have that one moment where the bride is very happy about it, or something happens that makes you feel like, yes, this is all worth it.
I'm on the right track.
Welcome to Small Girl Big Talk, where real conversations meet personal growth. On this episode, I'm very glad to have a special guest over to really share with us about her journey in taking the leap to pursue what she wants in life. This girl has moved across the globe from Vancouver to Singapore. She has made career shifts from media agency to tech, to taking a gap year to fulfill her childhood dream to be on TV. And she is currently on Netflix. And right now, she is actually running a bridal gown e-commerce business online. Her name is Joy Wang, and I'm really glad to have her over here on the podcast. And honestly, when I came into this recording, right, I thought this is gonna be a conversation on creativity because she's a content creator and running a bridal gown business, it's kind of like a creative thing. And she's on Netflix too, right? So she's like a talent as well. But what really caught me by surprise is how practical and logical she is when it comes to making all of these decisions. And I really like the things that she shared because the truth is entrepreneurship journey, it's not easy at all. And you really gotta know what it takes to run a business to be able to do it. And spoiler alert, I am actually gonna be wearing a bone and grey bridal gown on my wedding, which is why I'm really excited about this episode, and I hope you are too. So without further ado, I hope you really enjoyed this conversation with Joy.
You moved to Singapore 7 years ago.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So what made you take that leap?
When I was younger, I've always kind of moved in different places, like just moving from China to Japan. And then in university, I did an exchange in Australia. So I think the part like that got me used to moving and starting over in new places. But after graduation, I've always knew that I wanted to move elsewhere, get better job experience. I was really drawn to Asia at the time. I don't know why. It's like your parents moved you away from Asia so that you move back. It's really strange. But I am a city girly, so I chose New York, Singapore, and Hong Kong as my top 3 choices to move to. So at the time, I didn't really think too much of it. I just knew that I'll just try and see how it goes. So I started applying for jobs like everywhere and kind of go with the flow.
Okay.
I was having a trouble getting jobs in New York and Hong Kong. Because of that time, I didn't have enough experience. I was still pretty new out of school. But Singapore, surprisingly, had a job that, actually accepted me. And they helped me move over, which I was really, really shocked at back then because I had never heard of these things before, right? So they had like a whole little package and everything. But the hard part was talking to my parents about that. Yeah. So I remember I got the job and I was sitting them down at the dinner table and I told them, I got a job in Singapore. Yeah, I think I might go. And they were like, nah, I think you should stay.
They didn't know that you were applying to all these countries?
Did I update them throughout a little bit here and there, but I don't think they really thought I was going to do it.
Okay, they didn't take you seriously.
They didn't take me seriously. And by then I had paid off my student loans. So I was debt free and I was like, I'm going to go. And Vancouver was really boring at the time because startup scene was a bit slower than usual.
It is. Vancouver is a very nice place.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to career growth when you are younger, it's not as attractive.
Yeah. I was working for a corporate company and it was really, really slow. And I felt like I could do so much more with my time and like at that time super young, right? I wanted to learn faster and grow faster. So when I told them that, they asked me, I think you should stay in Singapore. I think you should stay in Vancouver. But then I said, nah, I think I'm gonna go.
Okay.
So I think because I'm a very rebellious child, the fact that they wanted me to stay pushed me even further towards like actually moving there, which I think is honestly one of the best decisions I've made in my life, moving to Singapore.
Yeah. I mean, since then, you've gotten married here. You started a business here. It's a lot.
Yeah.
right? But so
Yes.
when you first moved here, you were in a startup company?
Media agency.
Media agency.
Mm.
Huh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. I never been in an agency before. I don't know what to expect. But it was young and fun, and agency life is kind of crazy
It
sometimes.
is. And
Mm.
you're in Singapore, so it's extra crazy, right?
Yeah, I really loved the role because it was an APAC role.
Okay.
So I got to travel to different countries. I was in a new business position where like I was pitching to new clients. So that allowed me to be exposed to a lot of different companies, especially the big MNCs, and different like APAC countries. So I was like, oh my God, this is like such a fun job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've gone from that
To
to
startups.
startups.
Yeah.
Doing your own business.
Not yet, not yet.
Okay. So from media agency to startup.
To a few startups.
Okay, to
Yeah.
a few startups.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to work in a startup.
Okay.
So when I moved here, even though media agency was really fun and a great like opportunity, I knew like at the end of the day, I want to learn more about startups. And at the time, I felt like my role or what I wanted to do in a career is more product manager role because I knew a bit of coding, but I didn't want to actually code. But I know like the business side, marketing side, so I can like combine it all together.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I think PM is like the role for me. Yeah, so I went into Style Theory, which is like a fashion tech startup.
Yeah.
So I was doing growth product management for them, which meant like there's core PM roles and then there's like growth PM roles. So I was in charge of growing or changing the app and web to grow acquisition and also retention.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit more technical than the typical growth marketing role.
Yeah.
But very, very much fun because I get to touch the product and work with engineers to actually do sprint planning, change up like parts of the app, and then actually track the data to see like what works and what doesn't.
Well, that's very interesting for me to know
Oh,
because
really?
the joy that I know, it's like the content creator joy, right? So that's like the techie side of you.
Yeah, super techie engineering almost.
Yeah.
It was really, really an eye-opening role for me, and I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And now that I know this whole path in your career, right, then it makes sense that like you kind of have a fashion-ish
Yeah.
business,
yeah.
but you also have the growth and the technical knowledge in it, the skill sets in it.
Yeah. I think that's why I combine everything into this, what I'm doing now, which is like a D2C e-commerce bridal boutique.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go full on app because I knew that apps are a lot of work and not every business needs
an app.
Yeah. It is also not great for SEO, whereas like e-commerce is something that I do enjoy doing, and fashion is also something that I'm passionate about as a hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. So then how did you how was the process like transitioning from working in tech to starting a bridal business?
Oh, yikes.
Like what made you start Bone and Grey?
After dabbling in startups for quite a while, like I did do here and there back in university as well. I think along the way it was like trying to figure out what I don't like and what I like to do. So it's easier to find out what you don't want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to code. I also am not like a huge fan of like building a product that I'm not passionate about.
Yeah.
So after the startups in Singapore, I took a break. And that was when I started exploring different avenues of, products that I like.
Okay.
I did try out drop shipping a little bit in the past as well.
Okay.
But I found that it wasn't something that spoke to me. Like it is just very, you're just reselling.
Yeah, you're pretty much reselling stuff that you don't create yourself.
Yeah. And I think the branding part is really important to me. Like building your own brand, having a good brand story, and creating that brand love. So... And during that time, I was also, I got engaged. So I was looking for my own wedding gown. And my own wedding gown, I wanted something that was minimal, but also affordable. Because to me, I just want a good piece of gown at a good price that I can just wear for a date, right? I'm probably not going to wear it again.
Yeah.
And it was tough to find something like that. It was either really cheap or just like pretty expensive.
Yeah, and the really cheap ones are like, you're not too sure about the quality too.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm from Suzhou, which is known for wedding dresses. Yeah, in China.
Okay.
And that time when I went back during COVID to visit my grandpa, that's when I started looking around. And then my relatives were like, oh, did you know that there's actually like a huge wedding area in the city? So I went to check it out. And then I was like, whoa, wow, I can maybe do something with this. I also searched online for studios that could make a bespoke dress as well and see what the price was like. I ended up making my own bespoke gown from scratch. So like I took designs and elements from brands that I love and I basically coordinated with the like studio to make a gown that I wanted. And it turned out pretty good.
Okay.
And at a pretty reasonable price. So I thought, hey, can I do this for other people? Yeah. But then do people actually want this? Yeah. So that's kind of how it all happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was back in 20. It's just a year ago, right?
I think I started like researching and doing that kind of market research around 2022, end of 2022.
Okay.
And then 2023 was when I like fully put in my focus.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I think this could work. And it kind of snowballed into like a year later, we're here.
Yes. Oh my God, this is so exciting. And I mean, you just celebrated your 1 year anniversary recently, right?
And a lot of the frienders in the industry were like, 1 year only? They've been around for like 7, 8, 9 years. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like this is
Pretty crazy.
really just the beginning for you.
It is.
And it's
So I have to stay
exciting.
humble.
Yeah. There's a lot for you to learn still in this process.
Yeah.
So right now you're still focusing only in Singapore.
Well, to be honest, when I first started, I was already focusing on North America.
Oh.
Yeah. So because I'm Canadian
Mm.
and I know the market well, I know that they're very underserved there in certain aspects. And also, it's so expensive over there. So when I first started, I built waitlisters in US and Canada. And
Smart.
that's how I got my first few brides in US and Canada.
Okay.
So to this day, I still, actually, my biggest market right now is still the US.
Mm-hmm.
And then Singapore, because this year I allowed them to come into the office, like my little humble office, and try on gowns in person, like very private. I'm getting more Singapore brides now.
Okay. Oh, so I'm quite surprised. So your focus was in North America.
It's always started with North America.
Okay.
Yeah, because Singapore is a very small country, lots of competition here.
Yeah.
It's like not the best market to focus on.
Yeah, and it takes time for you to build your brand, for people to like trust your brand.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So having the overseas brides really helped, like getting their photos back. Like thank you to all my brides who send me their photos. Like it helps a lot to build that credibility.
You said you got a bride who recently got married in Greece.
In
Venice
and Greece.
Oh my God, so nice. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even think that my gowns would go that far.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, really? Wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only gonna go further from here.
I hope so. Knock on wood.
Okay, so we were talking all about like your tech startup journey and also starting the business, but I feel like we left out a gap over there, right? So you were taking a break in between that, and I remember I was seeing you a lot in the media.
Oh.
Like I know, number one, you were on Netflix, right? You are on Netflix right now. So Joy was actually on The Apprentice Asia.
Yes, season 2. The One Championship edition.
The One Championship edition. So tell us about that gap. Was it a gap year? It's not really.
Yeah. I would say it's a gap year.
Yeah, it's a gap year where you got involved a lot
With talent stuff.
in talent stuff. Yeah. So tell me about your experience in The Apprentice.
Okay. Well, funny enough, I've always wanted to be an actress when I was younger.
Okay.
And I actually got into acting school when I was like a child, but my mom didn't let me. So it's always been like a dream of mine, to kind of like resurface to the top. So during the time I was taking a break, I started doing a lot of freelance acting talent kind of work.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think I was really, really into all the casting calls. So we saw the One Champion. Well, actually, my husband saw the One Championship casting call on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
He sent it to me. He was like, maybe you should go for this. And I was like, I think it's a pretty far stretch, but I'll try it out, right? My goal for 2023 was to get on Netflix. Yeah, I manifested.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Because I was on Comedy Central for one skit.
You were on Comedy Central?
Asia,
Oh.
for like a skit.
But
Yeah. I
still.
can link it here.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a very funny yoga skit. I don't think it was like the best, but it was fun and it was really enjoyable to do. Then I was like, maybe I'll manifest to get on Netflix this year. And then that opportunity came up. I went for it. I didn't really think too much about it. However, I have to say that I was very naive because reality TV show is a completely different game than like acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Do we want to get into that?
Let's get into that, but not too
Not too much.
deep. Not too much. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I would say that you're there to play a game. You're not there to be yourself sometimes. Whereas I definitely felt like because it's the public eye, I wanted to just be my unapologetic self.
Okay.
But sometimes it's not fun for TV. So it's different. It's very different.
Were you assigned like a personality?
No, they didn't really give us. No, there was actually no scripts.
Okay.
At least not for me.
Yeah.
And but they probably have interviewed you enough to know what kind of person you were.
Yeah.
So they will put you in a certain bracket.
Okay.
But definitely there were sometimes things about where they would instigate a certain thing or like put a seed in you so that you would say something about somebody. But I try to stay neutral throughout that process because I know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But of course, if I had played into it more, maybe I stay longer
Yeah.
into the show.
How many episodes were you in?
Oh my God. One.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't watch that show.
It's okay. No. It's okay. Don't worry about it, guys. I've already got over it. My trauma.
Oh, but you are still on Netflix.
Yes, that's all that matters. 15 seconds of fame.
And that's the thing about reality TV, right? Like you said, like if you were to play into the game, and you knew that they were playing the game.
I think I didn't know enough at the time because it was my first time.
Yeah.
And like I was like, how could some of these people be the way that they are on TV? Because isn't it going to affect them in real life? It is a career business show, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's Love Island.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like it's a matchmaking show
Where you can just be like whatever. Then I'll just be whatever. But yeah. That's why actually because of how I left the TV show, that really propelled me to like prove people wrong, you know? And that's part of the reason why I pushed Bone and Gray to start rapidly
yeah.
because of that.
That's good.
Oh, I'm gonna prove them wrong.
No. But still, that was a very interesting experience. I was gonna say, I thought The Apprentice was the reason like that inspired you to kickstart this.
I guess it inspired in a different way.
In a different way. Yeah.
It did. I have to say, like afterwards, I felt.
Were you discouraged?
I was a bit upset because I felt like maligned. Yeah, and like injustice. I felt like that. But of course, it's all just like TV shows. So at the end of the day, I have to get over it.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's funnel this negative energy into something else, which is how we're here right now.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, I needed that to push me forward. And I actually appreciate that it pushed me forward.
Yeah. And I think this is the perfect segue because I kind of want to focus a lot on inspiring aspiring entrepreneurs to kickstart.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to kickstarting a business, there are a lot of fear that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And I think the top few like excuses that people would always say is like, I don't have the funds to kickstart a business.
Which could be true.
Yeah. So let's kickstart from there, right? So when you had the idea to do this entire bridal business thingy, right? How was the thought process like?
I think you do have to be pretty practical and realistic because financial is a huge part of it. Especially if you're thinking of bootstrapping, it will be tough to sustain without a good amount of money saved up. So honestly, I do recommend people to like have a full-time job, but one that is a bit more relaxed so that you can have time on the side and still have the money if you're uncomfortable to go all in at once.
Yeah.
For me though, I did try a lot of that throughout my career and I found that it was hard to focus and I was spreading myself too thin.
Yeah.
So is it like you?
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now.
I know. I feel you. You're always doing so much.
Yeah.
But it's great. And so for me, I did just fully went in. I did have like savings saved up. I also spoke like at least runway of like couple years,
Yeah.
because I know that the first year will always be tough.
Yeah.
And also spoke a lot with my husband to ensure that we're on the same page because that is super important.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to be resentful, and you don't want to be resentful if they're not supportive, etc. So yeah, I think that you have to be realistic first. Then secondly, just do it, because I hear a lot of people always making excuses, right, for themselves. But honestly, just start small. Like, you don't have to do something so big every single day, but my mantra right now is just to do something every day that will grow the business. Because sustainability is more important than explosiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a what is it? A marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, and I think like especially in today's world, right? We are so used to getting everything
Yeah.
like within a snap. We're so used to getting food delivered via Grab or like being able to get everything we want in a very short time that we become very impatient.
Yeah, like the instant gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Get it.
huge thing with today's world, right?
Yeah.
And like I was just thinking you're only 1 year into your business. And I think, do you have those moments where you feel like, oh, at this rate I should have been here, here, here?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's always so tough because you're constantly comparing yourself a little bit with other business owners, but you're also trying to remind yourself that you're on your own journey, so you can't really compare. I actually spoke to a lot of my suppliers, manufacturers, and other entrepreneurs about when they hit like a inflection point where they were struggling, struggling, then suddenly it's like doing better, maybe not like exponentially growth.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have told me like in the first 2 years they lost money, or like, but they kept going. So I think that's really inspiring for me to hear that, because I'm a very impatient person, and working in startup growth, right? You have to be like that. Every week you're looking at numbers, like, why are we growing? So to hear that gives me a sense of calmness, and also makes me feel like, okay, I may be on the right track. I just need to kind of like work hard sustainably. Yeah, and that in my first year, in the past year, only first year, it definitely has been quite like strugglesome for a lot of times. Certain times I'd be like crying, like, why am I doing this? I could just have a stable job, like,
Right. It's so tough. And okay, you mentioned this earlier. So how has you viewed things differently now that you've gone from the growth tech startup person to this business?
Oh, like, it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, everything is so hard. I think I have a lot of respect for like small business owners, even if they're just like a hawker center uncle, right? Or they have a small business that's been doing for a while, or just startup founders in general. I think I have a lot more respect, and knowing all the things that they need to worry about, you will never have to go through that as a company employee. And I find that I empathize more when people like have issues with customers, or like vice versa.
Yeah.
It is tough. Yeah.
And in terms of running the business, so back when you're doing growth, you're like always looking at numbers and all that, right?
Yeah.
And how has that changed for you right now?
Yeah, I mean, I love that I get to explore more of my right brain, the creative
The
side.
creative side.
Yeah. I felt like when I was in startup life, it was very much focused on the left brain, and I was so deep into data analytics. My numbers were like dreaming about numbers.
Honestly, I didn't expect you to be a data person.
I don't expect. No, actually, but that's the thing. Like, I think you need to be everything as a business leader or owner, because you never know. Like, you also don't want to rely on people like at the beginning too much, and you don't want to be throwing money at the problem unless you have a lot of money. So you do have to be well-rounded and a bit of a generalist, I would say. It has helped me a lot in different aspects, like just doing my finances, or like working on my website. Like, I built the whole website. I track everything myself. You would not be able to do that. Like, and I do know a lot of entrepreneurs who struggle with that, and they seek outside help.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when it comes to dreaming about becoming an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
They look at the bright side of things, like, oh my God, I get the flexibility, I just want a time freedom and all that. But actually the numbers are so important.
So important. It's honestly the most important part. And like, people don't realize that you can't just launch a product and hope that it sells.
Yeah.
You have to do all the background work of market research and then like knowing how to set up ads,
Yeah.
SEO, partnerships and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
That's what's gonna sell your product.
Yeah, and startup has definitely prepared you for that.
Yeah, I think you need a bit of startup life to understand
Yeah,
and
would
get
you?
into the weeds.
Yeah, like knowing what you know right now, right? If someone like fresh off the university, they want to get into entrepreneurship, what would your advice for them be?
Oh gosh. I mean, unless they're like a Bill Gates or or I don't know, like who's the Apple guy? Oh my gosh.
Apple guy Steve Jobs.
Unless you're Steve Jobs and you're like, okay, I'm gonna drop out of college and work on something because you're so passionate about it. I think you need maybe at least a few years of experience. Yeah, if you feel like you're not ready, like, and a lot of people will not feel ready. On the other hand, if you are passionate about something, you can't, I think it is good to start early while you're doing like a full-time job or on the side so that you can earn enough money so that you can become full-time.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think that's a very good advice. I definitely was really drawn into entrepreneurship without realizing the importance of having a solid financial backing
Mm-hmm.
and also the knowledge of like the numbers.
Yeah.
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 I made that mistake.
yeah?
I got into entrepreneurship like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I saw.
Yeah,
back then.
I got into entrepreneurship mainly in the coaching space. And I quickly realized my mistake.
Like, what was one mistake that you felt?
I didn't know how to manage money.
Okay.
I'm really bad at it. Like every time I earn, I'm like, I'm so rich now. I'm gonna spend them. No, but like I kept thinking that I'm investing it back to the business
Right.
without realizing how that I'm not managing my cash flows well. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are some important things that I didn't know. And just think about it this way. I feel like recently I've been having a lot of conversation with friends, and I realized that because we are both in like the 30-ish age, right? And there are so many times that when I look into social media and I feel like, damn, my friend's life is so good. Like they're traveling, they're going to bars and places. I'm like, that's good life. And I only realized recently that quite a few of them are in like credit card debts and stuff.
Oh God. Oh no. That's
Dude,
not good.
so yeah, like and this is something that I've kind of heard it from a seasoned finance guy too. And it's that like if you don't even know how to manage your personal finance well, chances are you might not be able to lead a successful business. Because at the end of the day, yes, you have your dreams, you have your passion, but if you don't know how to manage the business, right? Like the finances part of the business,
Yeah.
it's gonna flop.
Yeah. For sure.
Because at the end of the day, it's profit first, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a book called
Profit first. I'm
Did you
reading
read it?
I'm reading it right now.
Oh, I saw it yesterday. Someone recommended it.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's good.
Okay.
So, okay, it's recommended by a friend who runs an ice cream business.
Okay.
Yeah, and she said like that method of managing finances has helped her a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna read it as well.
Yeah, I think I really highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's very different from traditional
yeah.
business finances.
Yeah. I heard a bit about the gist of it. Yeah. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but definitely I agree. Like, I think ever since I started the business, I had to cut down a lot on personal expenses and even just like, yeah, personal travels and things like that. A lot from when I was.
A lot?
Yeah, a lot.
I thought like you just came back from Korea and you're going to Japan tomorrow.
That's for my husband's work. But in terms of my personal like stuff, I don't really buy that much stuff anymore unless I really need it. We also have pets, so we spend money on them.
Yeah, pets and kids are expensive.
I don't buy clothes anymore, honestly. I don't even like. I just been re-wearing the same clothes I've been wearing. Everything. Yeah, I do whatever I earn. I do put it back into the business for now. And even though you do have flexibility and freedom, which also means that some nights I'm working until like 9. Like last night, I delivered a dress at 9 p.m. But some weekdays I get the time off, right? But then I'll have to work on weekends sometimes. So you get the flexibility in that kind of sense, which I do enjoy. But not everyone will like that because it's very, very messy and uncertain. Not everyone can handle uncertainty.
Yeah. And okay, so I'm a huge person when it comes to, say, spiritual and mental health and all that, right? And I find that when it comes to starting a business, we can get very hustle mode. Like, and it makes sense because you need to run this business and you are bootstrapping it at the start. So you will be putting out like putting in that extra hours late at night or
Yeah.
weekends and stuff like that. So how do you find the balance in being intentional with what you do and still prioritizing your mental health in the process?
Man, my therapist tells me to do like 10-minute meditation in this corner every day. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I think I find it in different ways, like playing pickleball with friends on weekends and making time for my pets. Honestly, it has been taking a back seat for sure, not gonna lie. I think it's more like staying grounded while you're rushing through everything. Like I'll take a breath to myself.
Yeah.
Or listen to music on the way, like while I'm driving to deliver a dress. Like those help calm me down even in those pockets of time. And of course, like taking a break and actually not working during that vacation. It's
so
tough. It's tough. I know.
Yeah.
But I do try to manage, like, say if I'm on a vacation, I tell my husband, okay, I do need to work for that day, but every other day I will, dedicate my time to you.
That's exactly what I'm doing this trip. Like I'm here for a vacation technically. It's a friend's wedding trip.
Yeah.
And I'm staying at my cousin's place, right? And my cousin's like, you're recording 2 podcasts today? I was like, yeah, but today's the only like work day. And I'll be fine after that.
I know. See, you do have to balance it out. I don't think it's always gonna be easy unless you have a lot of discipline, which not everyone has in their first like years of struggle bus. But yeah, I do think that it is really important to kind of like balance it out. But going back to being able to juggle things at the same time. So like you're used to juggling things a lot, even in university, or maybe just like doing all these things on top of your full-time job. It's a lot easier for you to juggle this kind of business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you have trouble and have never really had that muscle memory, it's going to be tough and your mental health will take a toll.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me that you are pretty self-aware of the time that you need to remind yourself to rest, or even like taking a breath in between work and all that, right? I think that's very good practice that I think a lot of entrepreneurs might not even be aware that they can actually do that in between. Like you don't need to spend 30 minutes meditating every day.
Yeah.
It's really about finding this little pocket of time where you can remind yourself to breathe. You can remind yourself to just remember your intentions.
Yeah. If like waking up early works for you, then that's great. Or if you're a late night owl like myself, in the deep of the night, you're like, yeah,
That's when I'm
inspired. It is. I'm super like, I think I'm right brain, but trained to be left brain now. Yeah. But I do get very inspired.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so then, because you said that, I mean, you mentioned manifestation just now about being on Netflix, right? What would your vision for Bone and Grey be moving forward?
I think right now, because I sell to multiple markets, but there isn't a clear market that, is really, really strong. It's still quite, like sparse, I would say. So probably in the years going forward, we'll be focusing more on the individual markets and then growing there, whether it's like through physical B2B, or like through selling to the studios and whatnot. I think that would be an interesting one. In terms of the brand, I want it to be like inspiring brand and a go-to brand for like minimalist and affordable gowns, just because there's not a lot out there. So I do want to tackle the gap in the market as soon as possible. But of course, I want it to be internationally a known brand. That's gonna take us some time. And design-wise, I think something practical and also, valuable for brides. For example, like I'm working on convertible pieces. So you can wear a top and bottom or like a mini dress with an overlay skirt.
Yeah, girl, I'm looking for that from my wedding. So let's see, you can work something in that.
It's very like versatile, right?
Yeah,
like I'm a versatile girly. Like I love it when I can remove things, put things on, have different looks. So I want that to come out through the designs as well.
That's nice. Okay, so that's the big vision that you have. And what's your current intention with the coming year? I mean, because we're like, as we're recording this, it's the end of 2023.
Yeah.
And
2024.
Oh no, 2024. Oh, sorry.
In last year. She's in the past.
Yeah, it's the end of 2024, right? And this is the time when I always get very reflective.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to a podcast on my way here, and the hosts were talking about intention versus expectations. And I think in the process of chasing growth, we are always focusing on the vision and what we want.
Yeah.
But also, when you are intentional, things are different. It's more grounded, right? So what are your current intentions for the business?
Oh gosh, I just did like a business strategy 2025 workshop last night, and they asked the same things, and I was like, I haven't gone there yet.
Oh,
I'll do it next month. No, I think intention wise, more intentional with how the brand is perceived and how my brides feel. So I think customer service is huge for me, especially because like brides, right? Like I want to make their big day happy. So I think how they feel about the brand is right now I feel like it's positive, but it could be perceived in a better way. Like because right now it's affordability, right? I don't want people to see it as like a cheap like dress. So the whole customer experience and also like handling, their queries and all that is definitely very hands-on for me and intimate. A lot of them become my friends actually. Internet friends.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Does
Because-
that answer the question? I don't even know.
Kind of. That's like, okay, it's still kind of like very business intention for us. It can be your personal intentions too. And I'm really challenging you on
I know.
this.
I'm like, what?
I'm putting you on the spot, and let's just take this as a chance that
Personal intention.
for you to share.
That's tough. I need to reflect more. Clearly, I'm not aware enough.
Clearly, you're really on hustle mode for this
Yes.
business, and you have so much big dreams for this
Yeah,
business.
I know. Curious. I think maybe for myself, if I could not feel so rushed sometimes, like, oh my God, like some days are really, really intense. Like yesterday was one of them. I had like a million things to do. I just want to find peace while I'm doing it. Some of the days. And I think the passion is still strong. Like I know like sometimes you could get easily burnt out if you're working on your own business, but to be honest, it's harder to burn out when you're really passionate about it and you see good feedback from your brides and all that. Like that really keeps me going, and I feel like there's a lot of potential to grow. So that is what's like fueling me right now. But who knows, like in 2-3 years time, maybe I'll be so tired, I'll be like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, you could be.
Yeah, so I want to like just try to find peace through different periods of the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
one last question for you before we wrap up this episode, right?
Okay.
Why Bone and Gray? That's such a weird name.
What do you mean? It's white and it's gray. It's very minimal.
So the bone part is the white.
Well,
How did you come about that name?
there's really no special story behind this.
Okay.
I've had this domain for a long time.
Okay.
I was actually selling other things under this domain. And that's the whole trialing, testing part, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not like about starting something new. It's about reusing what you have already.
Yeah.
So one day when I was, looking to start this business now and like coming up with a name. So I looked through my list of domains, which I have a lot. And I was like, oh, Bone and Gray kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And it sounds really nice and
It's
minimal.
very classy.
It's very classy and elegant. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reuse it and not like waste time thinking about a new brand name, new logo, whatever.
Yeah.
And it worked out. I've gotten really good feedback about how it fits so well with the brand. And I was like,
Yeah. It really does. That's why I asked this question. But I kind of like your answer too.
okay.
Like it's very
raw.
it's very practical. And it's really entrepreneurial. And it kind of really wraps up this episode really well too, because I came into this conversation thinking that we're going into a very creative, very like inspirational, more on the right brain.
Yeah.
Creative brain is the right brain, right?
Yes.
More on the right brain side of things.
Yeah.
But I realized that you had a lot of the left brain side of things going on already.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense in terms of the growth that you've experienced in this first year. Yeah. And I really think that whatever you're doing over here, like I really believe in your vision. Yeah, and that's why like I'm so supportive of your brand too. So, like we've been online friends for so long. I mean, when you're online friends with somebody, right? You pretty much just follow their journey and you get curious about it and you're just like, let's let's check out what she's doing.
Yeah.
But like seeing the growth of this brand in this past year, it's been really exciting. And because I'm becoming a bride, I'm a soon to be bride.
Yeah.
Very, very soon.
Yeah.
So I'm more invested in this journey now.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it makes me really excited to see what's coming up next for you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Thanks for following along. I've also followed your journey along. Like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, what's Wendy doing? Something cool, obviously. Yeah, no, it's good. I think I'm really excited. Of course, like it's not gonna be easy because I
Mhm.
always tell myself and also everybody, it's just being realistic with starting a business. It's not gonna be all rainbow and sunshine most of the time. It's like 80% rain,
Yeah.
20% sunshine.
Yeah. But then you will have that one moment where the bride is very happy about it, or something happens that makes you feel like, yes, this is all worth it.
I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Usually it's the feedback, and I'm like, yes.
All right. So I guess that really wraps up this episode very well. Thank you so much for coming on. And by the way, I love your name, Joy. And I think it really fits your personality as I talk to you today.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, okay. It's like, Inside Out too, right? I literally am Joy sometimes.
You really are.
Because sometimes I'm unaware,
Yeah.
but I'm like radical optimism, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the moment I step into your office today, I'm like, yeah, you're Joy. Okay.
Name me properly.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody.
Yay.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Small Girl, Big Talk, where real conversations meet personal growth. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it on your Instagram stories so that we can reach and help more people in their personal growth journey. You can also support by clicking on the subscribe or follow button and give it a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening at. I really appreciate you for staying all the way till the end, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.